Hello there, and welcome to another episode of News from the Gelding. I just had some troubles with this line. It may drop. Could be because it's so fucking stormy outside today. So first of all, before I get to the art, just going to talk about the weather briefly because it's fucking awful here in the UK. I follow someone on social media from, I'm assuming, from the west coast of the USA, where the weather is far more temperate and pleasant, and they were saying how nice it was to use the windscreen wipers for a change because it rained for one day. Well, I've been using my windscreen wipers for the last 3 weeks. I don't know how to drive without them on, to be honest. They're always bastard on. Anyway, only other thing before I get to the main event is still suffering from fatigue, which I can only ascribe to the COVID vaccine, the second one I had. It probably isn't that. I didn't have anything like this lingering last time. It could be just the shit weather and the perpetual grey, doom-laden sky that we have to put up with over here. But there we are. Okay, so let's get down to business. So I'm talking today about a recent commission. I've had 2 commissions, and this one is from my old friend Dan. So what I'm going to do is just talk through from the initial request through to sketches and the final painting, which is behind me there, but I'll show you in a minute when we get to it. Okay, so first of all I'm going to switch over to the folder where I've got all the images. Wait a second, I'll just check. Yeah, it's all there. Okay, so here we go. Switch over to there. Right, okay. So this is what greeted me one day on my phone from my old friend Dan. Just a very basic sketch idea. Close-up of a worried prawn hiding under a thick layer of ice. Above there's a wasteland of cold white snow and blizzards, and below is different gradients of blue to black with a distant monster in the depths. 1/3 ice, 2/3 water composition. Very specific. There's even a key there. Prawn and ice, snow and all of that. Very, I've never had something so detailed before, but it was really helpful because I was able to get straight down to it. So let's get on with the thing. So the first thing I wanted to sort out was the prawn. This isn't really my forte, doing cartoon things. I've dabbled with it in the past, but it's not really my thing, but I gave it a good go. This was my first stab and it's fucking awful. They tended to look like penises every time I was drawing it. As you can see, there's a kind of a penis there. I wanted it to look surprised, and there's some gnashes there in the corner. This one's slightly more developed. Again, we've got a prawn with teeth and a tongue. I don't think they have either of those, nor do they have a moustache, but I thought I'd bang it on there. This is another one where I was just looking at how he or she might be lingering beneath the ice. I didn't like that composition. This one here, again, just playing around with the look of surprise, consternation, pure fucking dread at the thing that's coming down to get him, coming up to get him. In the very corner there, we've got a little thumbnail. I often nail a composition or get closer to what I'm looking for when I just do a tiny little thumbnail, and there we are. We're getting a bit closer to what I wanted. This last one in the sketchbook, I was focusing more on the prawn, his expression there, and a slightly larger thing, the same, just a blown up version of the thumbnail. Okay, so there we are. So from all of that I made this sketch, which I did on a sheet of A4. I've got it here. Well, you can see it there, so what's the point? So yeah, I drew it just to any size. I didn't want to worry about scale, but it was too large. So what I did was I scanned it, as you can see there, and then I printed it again smaller. You probably can't see, it's just a thumbnail of me now, but a smaller version, which I then rubbed a load of graphite on the back, an old trick for transferring images, and then I was able to transfer that faithfully to the canvas. So what I did then, so I started with an underpainting. I very rarely do an underpainting, but I thought I would just get the colours banged in. I forgot, after the initially reading Dan's thing, I forgot then what he wanted. So I just did blue, really. I didn't go from blue and purple. I didn't do that. It does go dark down the bottom, but it's hard to see because it was still wet when I photographed this. So you've got all that sheen, which is a pain in the ass when you're photographing wet oil paints. Okay, so I've got an image on here of the final piece, but what I'm going to do is just show you it in actuality. So hello there. Right, and I'll also talk about the final stages of the work. So here we are. Here's the final piece. Okay, there we are. Okay, so yes, I'm relatively happy with it, but yeah, anyway. So after the underpainting, I then went ahead and painted the ice on top, and this layer of ice and the snow. I was trying to do a bit of Bob Ross with these this kind of pile of snow, but it didn't really work because I didn't have it wet enough, or there were problems. But anyway, it went okay. The ice layer I just did with a couple of different fine brushes, just made it up. No reference for that. But at the same time, I did have. At the same time, sometimes I make these kind of reference image thingamajogs. So as we can see, I mean, I haven't copied anything here other than the beast. So the prawn itself, I did a kind of amalgamation of styles here, but I went for my own thing, which still looks slightly like a penis with a mouth. But yeah, I was quite happy with it in a way, and he does look quite scared with his mouth open and his pincer, yeah, near his mouth. The monster at the bottom there, that's from, I think it's from Finding Nemo or something like that. I just turned it on its side, and so for the prawn, yeah, I transferred the image using the graphite. For the bottom monster there, I just had this piece of paper beside these, and I just drew it freehand and then just painted it very quickly. Nothing special there. Anyway, there we are. There's the finished thing. I don't think it's what Dan asked for, but it's my interpretation of it. The monster at the bottom was far larger than I intended, but that's what happens when you just draw something quickly. I didn't really plan it very well. But saying that, I think it's fairly amusing. The other thing I should have done was used perhaps the colours I've used for the prawn and this gaping mouth should have been done really with slightly bluer tones, so that it looks as though they're underwater. It doesn't really look like they're underwater at all, other than the fact that they're beneath the layer of ice. But there we are. Yeah, still some sheen there because of the fact that it's completely wet. But you can see it there. Okay, there we are. That's finished. It took me 5.5 hours altogether, so maybe an hour for the initial underpainting. The top bit, because I was pricking around with it too much, took an hour and a half. The prawn itself took another hour and a half, and the creature at the bottom another hour and a half. So about 5.5 hours. And I just randomly, I always have films playing in the background, and this time I had Jaws, so it probably influenced the composition somewhat. But yeah, there we are. Pure quirk of fate. Okay, during next week I'm going to be working on the second commission, which is for my sister, which is a painting of a fairy. That's going to be far harder. I've been troubling over that a bit, because it's going to have to be done at least 2 layers. I've already done 1 layer, and there's going to have to be 2 more, just because of the complexity of it. And there's, for example, the wings of the fairy are going to be semi-transparent, because I like making things harder for myself. So therefore, the things in the background have to be painted first, dry, and then I can do the layer over the top of that. Also, the dress that she's going to be wearing is going to need 2 layers because of the detail that I need to put on top of it. Other than that, it's just painting lots and lots of cherry blossom, which is going to take fucking ages. Thanks, Maria, for this commission. Only joking. No, it's a nice challenge. So I'll be doing that in the coming week. But I think I'll also work on another painting just for myself, or one that I, just for my own interest that I may sell. Perhaps a spaceman, perhaps a space woman. I'm not sure yet. But there we are. So sorry, a very short one today. Luckily no one's joined. Splendid. There won't be a live stream this Saturday, and maybe not the one after that. This weekend I'm meeting my brother, Mark. So haven't seen him for 9 months because of all this COVID bollocks. So he will be coming down, and we shall be having an ale or two, and hopefully watching the Eurovision Song Contest, although I don't think he's keen. Yeah, so me, my sisters and everyone, yeah, we're all gonna bimble around. Yeah, there we are. Some of them can't make it, but there we are. COVID. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Yep, nothing else to talk about. No. Okay, right. So see you next Friday, hopefully, when I'll have some painting to show you. Hopefully. Okay, just going to let it run for a little bit because of this streaming thing. It may cut out where I don't want it. Hope it fucking recorded.